Welcome back to week 4 of the NALCS. We're kicking it off with our first game of the day. Second place Cloud9 versus 7th place XDG. Kobe, XDG is coming into this game off a much needed and emotional win over CLG last week.
Yeah, we saw some really good things in that game from them. Decisive shot calling from XDG in the late game, which is something that their fans have been asking for a long time, so I'm sure they're happy. You know, they took advantage of CLG's splitting up to gain their lead, and then they capitalized on picks in the jungle to finish very strong.
Yeah, you flip that, and Cloud9 is coming into this game off their second loss of the split to a team they'd never lost to before.
Yeah, TSM's over Cloud9 gave us our first look at a vulnerable Cloud9 and a vulnerable Meteor specifically, who took a pretty big hit to his KDA there on that Fiddlesticks. You know, they can actually only lose one more game now if they want to match their record from the 2013 summer split.
That's pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah.
When we discuss these games, we talk about the players, but today we look at the man behind the curtain, the coaches.
All the best teams in the world have multiple coaches that do different things.
I definitely think it's an important role, but it's hard to find somebody that classifies that position in North America. You're basically telling people to play the game for a living. It's like, oh, no, you should do it like this.
Obviously, players are going to think what they want to play is the best, but having someone there to not even argue with them, but just to bring up questions, make them discuss stuff more than they usually would.
I can trust Double Lift to have insane vane mechanics. I'm cool with that. As a coach, you're bringing that big picture strategy, you're bringing the experience of watching film for hours and hours and hours. So it's more about changing the way the players communicate to each other, instilling good habits, and having them understand strategy at a very high level. And then you kind of just release them into the game and hope they do well. Which is very nerve-wracking too, because you lose all control.
It varies, you know, depending on what style of coaching you do. Some coaches that are more, you need to play what I'm setting out, as well as my schedule, full-on like football style coach.
Some of the coaches don't really coach like as hardcore as I do. I feel that we've done better because we've become more structured and a coach is part of that system.
I focus a lot of my time on team building and making sure that they get along, they can communicate well, and just the overall strategy.
I'm like a second opinion. I'm gonna look over what they do, how they're doing it, and then I'm like, okay, is that good, the bad?
I'm looking at film, so I have a much better grasp of what champions are coming up, what strategies are being used, just big picture tactics. That's what I bring to the team.
Definitely more of this, I'm not a yelling person.
It really depends on the mood that I'm in that day, but I do yell sometimes, yes.
All you did was just let them win that game. Like slowly.
Yeah, because we never went in.
You didn't do anything.
I can't really impact them on the live match. It's all up to the player at that point. It is what it is. If they lose, they lose. If they win, they win. It's really, the very important thing is really taking the experience out of it.
Once I leave the stage, I have zero control on what's going to happen. I'm nervous the entire game. I can't sit down during games. I stand on the side just waiting for the first big play to happen.
The most recent game between CLG and Curse, they really only had one way to win, which was a flank attack in the mid game. I was really happy that they identified the proper strategy to use, executed it well. It's nice to have, you know, to see the work bearing fruit.
Great fucking job, guys. Really good planning. Really nice counter.
This is all I'm doing right now. I've invested 100% into it. I have no clue what I'm going to do after this.
I get paid to do this, but I love to do this. I love the guys that I work with. They're all incredibly hardworking, and I just want them to do super well.
I want them to do good, and I want them to succeed, and I want everybody from Curse to do good.
Not only am I their coach, but I also like talk to them on a personal level too, and I'm sort of a friend to them, so it's really good that we have that type of relationship.
I am doing this because I love coaching. There's nothing that emotionally affects me in esports more than whether CLG wins or loses.
I would be surprised if by the end of this year, all LCS teams don't have a coach.
It's interesting to hear that all of them kind of rest on that same idea that it's a little harder once you send them onto the field because you have no control, but Saint feels like he needs to step in there.
Yeah, and let's be clear, Saint, the official word is that Saint is in for this week, so we don't know if it's going to be a permanent thing or if it's just a subbing. Everybody just take it 1 week at a time, and we'll see how it turns out.
All right, so right now we're going to send it down to Jat, who's standing by with someone who can give us an insider's look at this match.
Thank you very much, Riv. I'm actually here with Julian, the manager of XDG. Now, we just saw the feature on coaches. What do you do as a manager on a day-to-day for Vulcan or XDG?
Oh, God. I kind of take care of the everyday responsibilities, whether it be taking care of scrims or taking care of the guys. Anything that has to do with Riot or anything that really has to do with the team sort of falls under my tree.
Awesome. And now knowing that you guys kind of had a tough start to the season, but have a big chance to really bounce back today against Cloud9, how important is this game for you guys?
I think every game from here on out is really important for us. Last split we went 20-8, so if we can make that giant stride going to the next one, we basically take down from last season. Against Cloud9, you know, Cloud9 is definitely one of the top teams in North American LCS, and to take them down would mean a huge morale boost for us.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of criticism against you guys. How do you help people deal with all the criticisms that are thrown at Zuna or ManCloud for their lacking performance this year?
I think we don't really focus on that. I think we like to focus on the positives as opposed to the negatives. Not what they did wrong, but what they're doing really well. And while we know that we've made our mistakes, we're quickly trying to remedy that. And I think going forward with this season, we can really push the advantage on all the other teams.
Final question really quick. Did you have any final words for the team before they came onto stage?
When we come on the stage, I try and say good luck and try and give as much positive morale as I possibly can. I think they do that pretty much with themselves. You know, Zuna likes to scream, so that's how it is.
All right, thank you very much, Julian. Good luck for XDG. Let's send it back to Riv and Kobe to take us into the game.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and let's check out the starting lineups and get right into it. On the blue side, we are going to have Cloud9. It's Balls in the top lane, Meteos in the jungle, High in the mid lane, Sneaky at AD carry, and backing him up is Lemonation on support.
And on the red side, it's XDG. Up top is Benny. In the jungle is Zuna. ManCloud is mid. Smithy is the AD carry, and Bloodwater will be supporting him.
And I think the momentum, something that Julian and Jat were just talking about, is really necessary for XDG here. We've seen it help Dig when they got their first few wins. They're on a streak right now, and it needs to happen here.
Yeah,
they've already got the one.
I think they do because, Zuna especially in the jungle, he had a really good first game, but since then hasn't had a lot of really big performances to go off of and give him that confidence. And between these two teams, the junglers are picked very early in the pick ban phase, often because Meteos is such a big part of Cloud9, and Zuna's new on XDG. Have to see what kind of picks that they fight over very early in this matchup. Because last time we saw Cloud9 last pick their jungle was versus TSM, and the Fiddlesticks didn't quite work out.
Didn't exactly work. We'll see. It was definitely a composition they had coming into the game. They didn't want to switch it up, it seemed like. The last thing they needed, lean a little bit of AP, and sometimes you got to kind of put yourself on the tough end of things.
Yeah, they didn't have the Thresh, though, to combo with him, which is
that
the
Lantern's
most
so
spectacular
good.
thing. Yeah.
That's the combination. And we are going to see right here Olaf getting banned out. An 8th ban against Olaf here in the NALCS Spring Split. The most banned champion.
And a lot of those are targeted specifically at Zuna because that first game that he had that was so successful was on Olaf. So taking out a shot at Zuna immediately.
LeBlanc coming out as well. This definitely going to High. Getting the assassinations away from him. The Cloud9 can just, once they get that lead, it's over from there. So you don't want to give him that chance.
He does love Kha'Zix as well. So if you're going to start banning out mid lane assassins here, that one's got to be a pretty high priority for you as well. You notice that Cloud9 did not ban any mid lane champions. So they're not going to help XDG in that area trying to ban out ban out High at all.
Looks like Lemonation gets his Thresh. He has only played Thresh and Leona in the NALCS Spring Split. 4-4. This will make a 5th Thresh game. Let's see how he goes. He's 4-0 on Thresh right now. This will be a good pick so far. XDG to answer. And the Elise has been banned out. A lot of teams have kind of been leaving that to Zuna, saying, pick this. We know we can shut you down on it. But nobody gets it this time.
XDG does not want to let Meteos grab that because they know that he will jump right on that pick, one of his favorite champions coming out of the jungle. And they want to get that one off the table. With the first pick of Thresh there, and then also the ban, Cloud9 have effectively pigeonholed XDG sort of into either that Leona or Lulu pick would be sort of the next top 2 supports. And they can leave those till the very end, though, now that they've already seen Cloud9's support pick.
Lucian picked up for Smithy. Looks like he's going to get a 5th game or 4th game on that right now for XDG. And Benny he can get a nice, easy top lane out of that Mundo.
Yeah, it's been a very successful champion, even on a lot of top laners that hadn't had much success before. All they have to do is switch over to Mundo, play a little bit passive in the early game, and then become a ridiculous regeneration machine later.
You can see the communication here on the champion select. You can see the players now on the bottom, a little bit more going back and forth, making sure they are getting the right things. Everybody's on the same page.
So what the page they're on right now is, okay, Mundo is just locked in.
Yeah.
Mundo almost always takes teleport top. So Cloud9 are thinking we're looking at already the threat of split pushing. What are we going to do towards that end game if we do get to a scenario where Mundo is extremely strong and he is probably going to run teleport? We need an answer for that.
What do you want? Does that siege answer? What do you actually want? Could it be two things?
Yeah, it could be that, or it could be we need a better split pusher, or we need something like, someone who can beat him. They do want to lock in immediately that Kha'Zix I talked about, 4 high, one of his favorite assassins for the mid lane, and with the other, sort of top 2 mid lane assassins banned out, I really like that, snagging it early.
And that's impressive for him. He actually hasn't gotten a chance to play Kha'Zix. It's been banned 6 times, and the chances it's been their choice to grab it for Cloud9. So he finally gets it. We're going to see it.
Yeah, plus it's comboed with a great early game jungler that can give him a lot of support in the early laning phase where Kha'Zix might fall behind. Kha'Zix has amazing kill potential in his lanes, just from going extremely aggressive, going all in. But if he does that move, it opens him up to ganks, which could set him very far behind. All you have to do, combo that with a Lee Sin, he'll be right behind you, and you can play extremely aggressive.
Meteos' Lee Sin, I think you remember it was some 32 assists in the 2 games that he had.
The stats
really very minimal in kills.
Great.
It's such a great catalyst to snowball the entire team. Looking over at the side, Cloud liking that Kale so far. He's 1-1 on it. Could be a good game here.
Yeah, not only is it a great champion just overall, but it's also great against the reset team that Cloud9 have already set up here. Very, very common pick into Kha'Zix, taking up the Kale so you can intervention on whoever his target is.
Pretty awesome pickups. A first Sivir pickup coming in for Sneaky, and Balls gets his Rumble this game.
Yes, the Rumble, that was pretty sure that's what the woo from the crowd was, because he's one of the only top laners that really still uses this champion. Definitely here in North America. Maybe Dyrus would dabble in it a little bit, but we haven't seen it so far yet this season. Balls is extremely confident on it, though.
This is interesting. They're leaving the jungle up for Benny, saying, he's had the carry in most of the games. He'll be up some 3 kills, and then XDG begins to falter, but they're leaving it saying, what do you feel most comfortable playing against what you see now?
Right, going into Elise, and also Elise and Olaf are banned, so his options have been cut down pretty quick here. Kha'Zix also is a jungle favorite at the moment because of the changes to Spirit Stone, so that mid lane pick is also effectively taking away another jungle champion that's very high tier.
Got the Vi coming in, 0-1 on Vi, but it looks like they're going to try to make it a win here. We said XDG coming off that much needed win, and it could give them really enough momentum to keep it going. They're a very early game team, as we pointed out before.
And with this set of champions, they've got a pretty good mix of everything. This Lucian Leona lane is a really strong brawly lane, even early. Vi combos very well with Kale as well, because Kale has a lot of damage that she can output when Vi comes in for the gank. And then, as we said before, they've got the Mundo split push. Meanwhile, Cloud9, pretty much a classic Cloud9 setup here. They got high on the Assassin, Balls on his Rumble for the early dragon fights, and then the Sivir and Thresh lane is going to be very interesting for Sneaky and Lemon Nation. I have to see if Lemon actually goes with the Targons even on Thresh. Even though it doesn't execute, he does like to get the extra gold.
So what can they do against a split composition? What is Cloud9 looking to do here if that comes to fruition and they get split?
As I said before, they can have, if Kha'Zix gets to that point, he's a very strong split pusher as well, and they can actually, what you can do against split pushing is assassinate the split pusher.
If you can.
If he's got his Ignite up, then he definitely can do that. Also, they have the ability to force a lot of early team fights around Dragon. That's what Rumble brings to the table. That's why Balls goes back to him over and over again.
I like it, and we better see the action early while the teams load into the Rift. Let's check out with who you guys think is going to take the first win of the day. And according to LOLesports.com, 92% of you think that
no surprise
Cloud9.
there.
Wow.
I mean, this is top of the LCS teams right now, top 1 or 2, and then Vulcan is XDG.
But what is that? What has Europe told us about those matches?
Yeah.
That absolutely anything can happen. It happened twice, didn't it?
Yeah. This is North America, though. It's not as swingy over here.
Well, they said they come out. Bjergsen said they come out swinging in the early game, man. So we'll see. He said he learned a few things. But right now we got Cloud9 versus Vulcan on the screen. XDG, rather. Chat's got me saying Vulcan.
Yeah,
I'll blame it on him.
all of us up there.
We are on to the Rift, and we are going to see what these two teams have for each other. Like we said, sneaky, a first Sivir game here. We're going to see what these teams have for each other. Zuna was kind of pushed out. We'll keep an eye on him in the jungle. He's on one of his really last picks in the comfort pool for him.
Yeah, Vi is pretty much the only trick that you have to learn when jungling Vi is the Vault Breaker flash. Either flash Vault Breaker or Vault Breaker flash. As soon as you have that move down, then you're pretty much good to go because her R is targeted. And all you really have to do in that case is rely on team communication, and it's not so much individual.
Sweeper start here for Lemon Nation. Looks like Cloud9 usually not having too much ward control in the bottom lane, but they're switching that up this game.
Yeah, the sweeper early. Sometimes when we see the early sweepers, there's a lot of late invade potential for teams. Since they're not going up against something like Zyra or Annie, they could actually still go for that. But it doesn't look like they're making any moves early. Every time so far, though, that someone has started with a sweeper, we have seen a late invade.
Creeping down, see what happens. I feel like ManCloud is going to get a little bit of aggression towards himself early game here. And Meteos and High to get High going on that Kha'Zix. We'll have to see.
Oh, they cornered him. They could get a
Smithy's sleeping. He's going to have to blow his flash. No, he takes E first. Great weight on the skill choice there.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody nowadays just waits with their first skill because of situations exactly like that. If you level it up super early, then obviously you're going to be at a disadvantage.
Great sweeper already being used there as the trinkets go down as well. A few cleavers over to Balls, but he's going to be all right in that top lane. Also, something to watch out, Balls is quite focused in any game that he plays when he gets rumbles, but he always makes an impact. So we'll see if XDG tries to shut him down.
And you can see what he was doing in the early game here, even before minions had spawned. He's spamming his flame spitter so that he can keep the heat up. Keep it in that perfect zone between 50% and 100% so he gets the extra damage.
It's a little bit more of trying to keep active, and they do go. The level 2 gank coming in. Since when has this happened? And they're going to go hard on ManCloud. The Ignite's down already, and they get the aggression.
They changed 2 flashes, though, for only a single flash of Mandatory Cloud. And the Ignite down for High. That was a lot of summoners spent. They did gain the advantage of the map here, though. This is synergy between, and we don't like to use that word too much, but this is between the jungler and the mid laner. This is why all the mid laners talk about...
Oh, the E-hook! Bet you wish he flashed on that one. Looks like he's going to be safe for the time being, but Barrier's blown down there, and he's blinking.
Yeah, and he had to pop his first health potion, so that's a huge win for them. Also, look at the CS he's down. 2 to 12 at the moment, plus there's 1 on Lemon Nation. Shoving in very early with Sivir, extremely common because she can do it so well.
Hooks all day. Good damage on the W and the Q. Boomerang coming out. They have aggression, so much aggression in every lane. Calling Zuna down to the bottom while they're invading the top side. These guys are just working perfectly.
Now, Lee Sin is a great jungler to choose if you're going to go aggressive in all your lanes like this. Balls, you could see, since he's so much AoE damage and he was charging that heat, he's going super aggressive, shoving up top lane. Bottom lane, Sivir lane, also going to be shoving up. And then Meteos makes his visit in mid. So they effectively shove every single lane up, and they can take advantage of Lee Sin's extreme early game power.
Looks like they may be trying to get a counter in mid here. Zuna just waiting. Baited Breath sitting on the heels of ManCloud. ManCloud just forcing that wave into the turret, trying to choke out High so he can't get anywhere. Meteos seeing the same thing in the bottom lane. Smithy trying to put some damage down, and again, it could be some focus here. High, he kind of put the towel on. He goes very hard with vision already. Zuna is there to back him up, and it's not going to be enough to take down either kill.
So since both flashes were down, it's an easy lane to go back to. That's the all-in potential from Kha'Zix we were talking about. He can land a slow, and at this point, it's enough to make Mandatory Cloud act on defensive maneuvers, and they get the flash out of the jungler there. Zuna had to flash over Wraith walls, so they've evened up the summoner count.
As you mentioned that before, Ball's doing a great job of keeping that heat up. It kind of makes Rumble a champion you have to always keep your mind focused on. You're doing something else all the time, but he's doing it very well. 5 minutes, Meteos still inside of Zuna's jungle.
So that's the early game power of Lee Sin we talked about. You make the gank, even though they don't get a kill, because they took so much health from XDG. He's able to go in for the invade, taking away the big camp. You can see why he didn't bother with the Wraith, because the Wraith will just, or the White will just respawn since there's no babies.
We'll see where Meteos goes from here. He looks like he's trying to get the job done in mid lane so far. Bottom lane is pushed back now in favor of XDG as they try to suffocate Cloud9 against the turret, but Sneaky's farming quite well still, 36-22 in that lane.
Yeah, they start off immediately shoving that lane up and got a good amount of CS out of it, plus harass under turret. At this early stage in the game, it's actually much more effective to go for harass under the turret against the enemy team while they're trying to CS than to do turret damage, because you gain so much more power in the lane by doing that.
They might actually try to go for this. Ball's not getting 6 off that last minion. They go to Benny. Benny's got the ignite down. Meteos first blood and safeguards out.
Really sweet move behind him, and they also have a ward here pass, so they were looking for Zuna before they made that gank happen. And since he went around the back and saw no Zuna in the area, that's why they were confident to go for the dive. Mundo is pre-6, and they have the execute with Lee Sin.
Good choice here. I thought Zuna was going to head to the lane, but they keep it safe, and he goes back. We got a teleport in from Benny, and we'll see if he can keep the farm in that lane up. It's already balls at a 40-30, so he's got a 10 CS lead.
And you can see Meteos has not gone back to his own side of the jungle. He's making plays on XDG's side of the map and just roaming back and forth from solo lane to solo lane.
You can see this coming in already, and Cloud9 seems like they're doing it patiently. High maybe feeling a little bit of stress now. That last shot from E, no. Wears off on Kale, and ManCloud cannot get the kill.
Meteos probably going to have to soak up some of these minions as well, as High really needs to go
A little
back.
lane tax, why not?
It's very dangerous to lane tax against a champion like Kale. A lot of mid champions are going to have a huge advantage over junglers in the early game just because of the range. So you have to be careful not to lose too much health.
Meteos
Smite
waiting,
Wars.
trying to get it out. It looks like they call Lemonation up. He does start to roam at this time of the game. He's just going to throw on a little bit of pressure. Looks to maybe sweep out some wards.
Wow,
if
they
he
let
can
him
get
back.
him up here. He'll get sweep on that one. Very nice.
They let Mandatory Cloud go back to base there. I mean, Lemon was just trying to delay Zuna so that they can get people in position for this blue invade. That might be the reason why they let Mandatory Cloud recall, but it looks like High is going to just try and shove that wave in and make them lose out on CS. Very dangerous, actually, to fight in the XDG jungle without preemptive wards. Since he hasn't made an early path to that side of the jungle, it's too dangerous.
Being safe, grabbing his red. Looks like High is trying to pressure that mid lane and get it pushed up. Meteos is actually going to be taking the red for himself as High pushes that. So we'll see if they can get the gank for the bottom lane possibly coming in. We saw Lemonation with that sweeper, and he is everywhere right now, and he's been hitting hooks. And this time it's just for the walk-on.
Yeah, so a lot of junglers complain of when all their lanes are pushed up, how it makes it hard to gank, but there's a lot of different advantages. You just have to play the game a little bit differently when all your lanes are pushed up. Take advantage of invades at that point, and take advantage of letting your support roam, because your AD carry is able to wave clear so easily. They get sort of another man on the map, and you have to make moves elsewhere.
It looks like those moves could be made towards the bottom side. Zuna at half health. XDG begins to consider this dragon. This could be very dangerous.
Really, really dangerous. They have to back off from this one because the rest of C9 are collapsing.
The teleport is not up for Mundo, so they won't get him. And Balls looks like he's going to be staying in the top lane. So those two keep it going. Benny has gotten himself up in CS. His Balls went to back as well. So he's closed that lane a bit. High trying to put on the aggression in mid lane, and this actually could lead to an eventual dragon.
Wow, they got the ultimate already. So intervention is down, but I don't think that C9 will force a dragon because there's a teleport Mundo who's, well, he's burned his teleport already. Then they could force dragon.
Just kidding.
He had to burn it to get back to lane.
Right. But Meteos still in the jungle. I think he's got a year pass to this thing right now because he really has not left it. And he's going to go ahead, take this once again, and he is making life for Zuna very hard. In Champion Select, they took away his champions, then they took his Lee Sin and put him on bye.
And you have to give the rest of Cloud9 credit too. Counter jungling is not a jungler's responsibility only. It's a responsibility of the whole team. You guys all have to work together. The solo lanes have been collapsing. Even the support roamed all the way up to that red before and placed a couple wards. This is a team activity here, counter jungling. We saw it first from Gambit, where Darien would help Diamond so much in the counter jungling. It's a very similar style here from Cloud9 coming out, where everybody's taking part.
Ooh, looking to get the Lantern in. Still going for the hook. They had enough damage to get that down under the turret and possibly get out in time, but the miss, it deters them.
You could see the communication, though, and the roam from Balls. He had made it all the way down to mid lane, too. So if there had been a fight to break out right here, even if there was a counter gank ready, Cloud9 were already in position to collapse every single person on their team, sans Sneaky.
Sneaky himself, it looks like he backed a little under 1,000 gold, got himself that pickaxe. He's got Zerkers just building himself up. Looks like he's getting pushed back, though. We'll see what he has to do. Kind of building for the team in that armor pen.
Yeah, he's
getting on the hunt for the fights.
Yeah, exactly. And also Lemon is building for the team, too. You know, picking up that coin, both him and Leona are looking for the speed boost later. So this Cloud9 team is really going to be a strong team fight brawling team. As usual, they like to fight a lot more out in the open around objectives because they really do not have great range on any of their champions.
Sneaky's been doing a great job. He was quite up in CS, but we saw the roam from Lemon, and he's pretty much even in CS now, so still faring well in that. Great job, Zuna. He's trying to get himself in for the counters now, but Meteos says no.
That right there is why I'm such a huge proponent of defensive pink wards. Defensive pink wards take 5 hits to kill. If they're on your own side of the jungle, they're very easy to get to and defend.
High has been showing aggression all game. Meteos looks to piggyback on this one. The intervention goes down.
They burn the teleport, though.
Teleport is burned once again and stopped.
Right,
he just decides to go to top lane.
So he will have a shorter cooldown on it, but it will not be available again if they do decide to force that dragon. I still don't think that they'll go for it, though.
No, Meteos is on the top side. Actually, Balls is getting a roam on right now. His lane's fully pushed. This might just be for ManCloud.
Could be, because they know they burned everything off ManCloud in that last aggressive dive.
Oh, they throw it down. It's going to be missing. The red carpet, really nobody wants to take it on this one, but they get the kill. ManCloud shut down in mid.
So Balls is usually just spot on with his ultimates, but even though he misses that one, follows it up with a flash. They go all out on that gank, and then it's a safe dragon. Having taken down ManCloud, they know that they need to grab this one because Mundo's shoving as hard as he can in the top lane, and they want to let Balls get back there to defend it before Benny can actually take the turret down. It's past 8 minutes, so that extra champion reduction damage is gone on the mid and top turrets.
ManCloud, a very big heart of this XDG team, and any team, opposing team that plays against XDG will go for the heart immediately. You got to watch out. Those penguin jackets will get you killed sometimes. 13 minutes on the clock. Bloodwater doing what he can, also building up the coin, so they have their own bit of initiation, which really we have not been able to see yet. The dragon, still waiting.
Dragon is not waiting. Dragon is dead as something that's dead.
Something that's dead.
Your fish, your pet fish from when you were 5. Sorry to bring that back up, Ruth.
Damn.
That was too soon. I'm sorry. 20 years is not
24
enough.
years later, it still hurts. 2K gold in favor of Cloud9. Probably that dragon that's pretty dead right now. And we see a lot of the CS is quite even. ManCloud, although dying in lane, he is up 10 CS, but the kill to high is allowing that kill potential to as well. Just keep shutting ManCloud down. And I'm sure that blue buff is looking pretty juicy for him right now, and they might want to take it.
Yeah, blue buff is definitely big for both these teams. Look at the bait in that Sneaky was trying to pull off right there. Meteos really wanted to come in for that one, but XDG did not actually go for the tower dive.
Like Cloud9 going mining, 2 pickaxe. We got one for high, one for Sneaky.
Balls is getting really deep in enemy territory here. He's going to get sandwiched.
He's pinched.
He has no
He's
flash.
Pinched. Right over the pink ward. There goes the assault battery. Is there going to be some excessive force? Yes, there is. The vault breaker as well. ManCloud swinging swords. The blue buff coming through with big time. The slow and Benny. Benny's going to get a little business on the briefcase.
You have to call him out because that was one of the rotations that you can really, really cost your team.
Yeah.
He did not have the jungler to back him up. He's so used to Lee Sin always being in this top red side jungle that he can go for that path. But since there's a ward here already from Benny, they catch him out. And a really good capitalization there by XDG.
Nice hit. I believe the ultimate there was quickly used by High to push them off. It was Sneaky pulling out the solar flare in the bottom lane. His barrier is down after that engagement. It looks like Lemon Nation's here to provide a little bit of aid.
That roam from balls really cost them there. Enabled the top turret to actually go down since it was so weak from the early dragon.
We've seen they all still have an effect in these late game team fights, and more so than often. Balls comes through huge. It looked like he got killed 5 times in lane, or did get killed 5 times, and he'll come up and kill your whole entire team in the next fight. Cloud9 is always one you have to worry about. They got magic tricks up their sleeve.
All right, High's going deep, but ManCloud has intervention.
Here's one of those magic tricks right now. Who's got the rabbit in their hat? It's going to be the intervention, but not enough. Coming in a little too late again. It won't be canceled this time. And that might be Rumble grabbing the top turret for C9.
All right, it's going to be a long cooldown for Benny, but XDG is making a good switch here. They're calling up Zuna, even though they lost their mid laner. They're trying to make the best of a bad situation.
Yep.
Rotate to cover every single lane and try not to lose out on CS while ManCloud's down.
Meteos having an impact on Lee Sin. It's slower than usual. It's usually the assist to him, as we have said, but a lot of the kills weren't finished off on ManCloud in the mid lane, which kind of slowed them down. Usually we see Cloud9 taking off a little faster than this, but they've been kind of pushed off of these kills. Zuna's been holding onto ManCloud. Their synergy is growing a little bit.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch from Cloud9 in mid has been pretty strong, but Zuna's been doing his best to stop it. We saw him defend a couple of them, and Kale, very hard to take down because of the intervention. So it's extremely hard to finish off those kills, and you have to make a lot of repeat visits. Yeah, that's a slow fight.
Very slow. Slappy slow fight. Looking one turret down on the side of XDG. They've only opened up the top side of the map, so that's for Benny to use right now. It's not going to give him a whole lot of pressure. We'll see what they can do with it. 1 minute and 40 seconds for that dragon, and I don't think that teleport's going to be up.
Yeah, it's really too bad that he burned that one without getting anything back, because the next dragon that does come up, that could have been a huge advantage for XDG. That's the game that they're trying to play, looking for the long haul and looking for the advantage from their teleport in the top lane. Because it's burned, though, he's just going to have to ward up deep in that blue side jungle, and if Cloud9 go for another dragon, then he's going to try and pressure the secondary turret there. And they can even call for blue steals, which is really strong against the Kazakhs.
Or on the hunt, they lock it down. Bloodwater tries to throw it on the shield. He goes for the fade away. Solari, oh my gosh, that's Smithy going down. A great grab in the death sentence. Very nice try on the solar flare. 2 kills, though, coming up for Sneaky on Sivir.
And XDG answer mid. They're making the call to try and shove down 2 turrets here.
This is going to be big, but it's not stopped by Cloud9 either, Kobe. They are going for that bottom lane quite hard. They do have Sivir. It's not Xmithy in the mid lane, but they have ManCloud. They're able to drop down these turrets quite easy.
Yeah, they get the second one down there. That's a really, really big point of control for them now. They have so much control of the blue side jungle. They can actually set up that blue steal I was prepping. Now, this 3-man squad from C9 might have a tricky time getting out because XDG are heading them off, but the AD carry and support are fairly far behind.
He gets him! The boomerang comes in beautifully. He throws down the Hail Mary on himself. Balls is right in there. His equalizer is down, and they find themselves in a jungle fight with not much vision. Calling just tearing through the right side of the team. Sneaky comes up with the first kill, and XDG cannot find their way out of this fight. A double kill coming in for High, and I think they're going to end it on that one.
High with the double hop out there to escape. He goes all the way to the back line after intervention wears off to take down Mantar Cloud, and his team prepped up the second kill for him so he could get the reset. Turns it into a dragon. That's a huge swing for Cloud9.
Benny getting a little antsy. He wanted to get a few more attacks in. They do put down a pink ward, but it's a little too late. Let's see what happened here.
So this was actually prepped. Cloud9 follow the 3-man squad of XDG and cut them off. What a beautiful hook from Lemonation to start this off. And then, since Cloud9 just all go aggressive at the same time here, they get the early advantage in the fight, and XDG trying to answer. There's the High jumping into the back. On the bottom screen there, get Bloodwater low enough for the second kill. And High gets to escape easily. He was just level 11.
Using the vision of that fight perfectly, and like you said, Bloodwater did a great job there. He was peeling 3, but the assassination of High is very strong right now from the early game help the Meteos gave him.
Right, so that whole series of events was really prepped by Balls following very close on XDG after they retreated from the turret.
Better be following close now.
Man.
Bloodwater on the backside. Oh, are you going to leave Syndrome? Do it! Everybody wants you to. He's not going to hit it. It wears off. They get Bloodwater, though. That is a death sentence. The Hail Mary coming in from Kale. And it looks like they save one. Oh, he goes for the second one, but he gets knocked up. A great Vault Breaker pops him, but the dirt damage is being aggroed separately across Cloud9 champions. Somehow they're all still alive, and they're not even losing that much health. No, they don't go for another kill. Everybody calm down.
High's still alive. He's so close. No, I got him.
Where's he coming from? He teleports into the backside. Benny's already in the fight. Sadum is on. What? Lemon Nation coming up with the flay damage and the kill onto Smithy. They get the boomerang, but it's Meteos coming up with the kill. Shutdown onto Benny.
Having sort of flashbacks to Worlds here where SKT goes straight up the mid. They just get kill after kill after kill. But man, all right, we started off with a hook from Lemon Nation, as usual. And Sneaky able to follow it up with great harass. As soon as High sees these low health bars, he goes right in for it. Beautiful flash from Bloodwater to get out of the way there. And another hook from Lemon Nation right there. The play as well. They're able to chase down 2, 3, and a third hook from Lemon Nation. They don't go for the kill, though, because of Benny teleporting in the back. He was able to finish off High. And then they turn it around with balls with the roam and a fourth hook from Lemon Nation landing in a fight.
Kobe, there's a reason he has had 4 games on Thresh and he has 4 wins on Thresh. Lemon Nation pulling out big plays for his team, bringing the exhaust as well for these fights to make sure that there isn't anybody getting zeroed out. So they even have countermeasures to the attacks.
That was a pretty good series of events for Cloud9. They got 2 of the mid turrets after that. So they were able to answer the first play that XDG made, and now they've equaled out the map control here, and they've actually even surpassed XDG because they can invade both sides.
Well, XDG has split the middle of the map wide open here, as well as Cloud9. We'll see if they use that to get into the buffs, and use that for this vision. We already see a lot more sweepers coming out for Cloud9, so they're going to control the map no matter what.
They definitely want to press their advantage. Bahai gets caught.
That's the kill they want. Where's the follow-up, though? They both turn away from that, not knowing where the rest of the team is. This is not having that vision. Oh, right on to High in the back line. A great job by Zuna, but is he too far? Benny trying to walk off on the red carpet, and Balls is going to give him a welcome home here. It doesn't let him go anywhere. Benny stays in, but he's still alive for some time now. Going down with ManCloud at the same time. Those guys, they go down as brothers.
Yeah, chasing that deep there, XCG have to have everyone on the retreat after they kill High, and losing 2 more members means that Cloud9 can actually knock at the inhibitor turret doors.
Meteos' build went from that ancient Spirit of the Golem into the Giant's Belt into the Moby Boots, things he can initiate for his team with and make things like this happen.
So I talked about in the early game how Cloud9 really likes to have the early game upper hand, but they've also built for this mid-game push. You can see Sivir going with the Last Whisper plus Bloodthirster build first, very early. Yeah. That's amazing wave clear as well as turret damage. So they're really hitting their power spikes very hard at this time in the game. That's why they're looking so dominant. They have Balls with his number 1 and 2 item combo, and then the same thing with Sneaky here. They're really, really hitting the peak right now, and they need to make the most of it. One inhibitor down is huge.
It was interesting the way Sneaky bought everything as well. He didn't change the longsword into a scepter right away. He had the pickaxe, and then he had the BF sword. It was like only damage. If it doesn't work on, the money doesn't equal damage, I'm not going to buy it right now.
Exactly. Want as much output as he can get, because once they catch somebody, they pop on the hunt, and they don't let anyone get away. XDG try and save some members that get caught, only makes more people go down in the end.
It's one of the biggest boys on your team right now, XDG, and he is taking quite a bit of damage from the Assassinator. That is High onto Kha'Zix. Benny getting seen again. What that tells them, though, is their jungle is completely warded.
And here, the sweepers are coming into play for Cloud9. As we said, they want to press this advantage that they have, since this is such a huge spike for them. And they're trying to get much more control than just that mid-inhibitor down.
Well, we got the Hex Drinker. Hydra finished up onto High. His mid lane comparison is on that. Nazar's and the Sheen. High looking to get a quick attack in there that would really cause the fight to go in their favor. Looking for a quick power play here, but they cannot find it. They're forced to wait a little bit longer.
XCG fans need to hope for the team to be able to stall at this point. They really are looking to get to the point where Mundo's very, very tough to kill at the end game. He needs another item. And ManCloud needs to be able to get his Lich Bane. Once that's complete, then they'll have the chance where they can shoot high down out of the air very quickly. But
take him down before he hits the ground.
They have to buy time for that to happen, and they need a lot of time.
I don't feel like Cloud9 has even used all the tricks in their bag right now with this top turret going down. They also grab Dragon, omnipresent, in control of everything.
Almost the whole map is blue right now.
Yeah.
All lanes are shoved up. Both sides of the jungle are warded perfectly, and they go for the Baron. They have Lee Sin, so it's a very easy execute for them. Also, Kha'Zix with the isolation damage means they can burn through it really fast. And XDG have to be very careful about checking this. This is where Scrying Orb would come into play.
They're walking right through everything. We see the Baron go down. There's the hook from Lemon Nation. He just hits that one to increase the amount that he's hit.
Percentage,
yeah, absolutely.
Hit percent for Lemon off the charts.
Kobe, that gold, 47,000 to, we'll say 35,000. Still an astronomical lead to have at 25 minutes. And XDG is going to need a miracle at this point.
They really do. As we said, stalling, they're going to have to stall for a very, very long time if they want to draw this one back to even playing ground. But the reason Cloud9 got that Baron so easy is because of the massive map control that they prepped it with. All 3 lanes shoved all the way up into the base of XDG, out at the Nexus turrets. And then both sides of the jungle perfectly warded.
We'll see what they can keep doing. Cloud9 did a really great job just out of picks and bans in this. Kayle and Lucian are the only 2 champions that XDG has found a win on with the composition they have together. So they made sure they were on champions that weren't exactly the top tier of comfortable for XDG. 48,000 to 35 as Cloud9 increases that a few thousand for every 500 that XDG is getting right now. They have so much control of the map and really go whatever they want right now.
So we have a bit of armor on Meteos at this point, on Lee Sin. And since he's such a mobile champion, if they do go for a dive, he can start it off. And then if he gets low, he can safeguard out or something like that, or kick somebody to the back. But really, the fights at the side inhibitor turrets are really what's going to determine if this game stalls out at all or if Cloud9 can finish it off. Because the mid inhibitor is pretty much a given. You have to give that up. Can't fight Cloud9 in the open. But at a turret, XDG want to make their stand right now. This is where they want to fight, and this is the test here for Cloud9. If they can actually pull this dive off, or if they can just zone and get down the turret, this turret will go down extremely fast. As we said, Sneaky has gone with a very, very high early damage build here. They can take down the turret quickly.
Well, XDG has found a way to tiptoe outside their base. They have placed a few wards here and there. They have a pink down on Dragon that'll eventually be taken. Lemon Nation trying his hand at a quick hook over the shoulder. Misses out, but all of XDG stands in front of you now. The fact that Benny has teleport isn't doing any good.
And we have to watch Ball's ultimate right now because the Kayle ulti can save one person, but if Balls lands his Rumble ult onto several members of XDG, then that forces ManCloud to choose between one of his teammates' lives and his own life, which is very, very difficult choice for Kayle. And if he makes the wrong choice, High is going to execute him and hop right back out.
And once that happens, there's so many things to be dodging. A boomerang bling, like you said, the equalizer coming through, Lee Sin's kicking, missiles from Kha'Zix. There's the coin, and it looked like to get on the hunt as well. They do throw it. ManCloud's the focus, but he gets the self-intervention. He gets hit down. Lemon Nation, another kill in the game, and it's going to be Sneaky coming up with a third for himself. He has been doing, no, he's 6-0-9 on the game. It's not going to matter, though. The inhibitor's falling, and I believe they're going to take these Nexus turrets.
All right, so Balls was actually the point man there, and he was able to tank up the turret. Good execution from Cloud9. They finished the game off clean.
29 minutes into this one, 18-3, a huge goal lead for Cloud9, and it does not look like they've been fazed by any of the losses.
Yeah, they go right back to the classic Cloud9 that we know from 2013. Dragon fights really turned it around for them. They used the Rumble extremely effectively. Even though Kayle was on the opposing team, High worked around it perfectly, going for the executes, keeping track of the timer on intervention, and even getting to the back line to kill off Mandatory Cloud.
That's really the first time we've seen a it wasn't level 1, it wasn't the level 1, but after laning phase started, we saw High on Kha'Zix and Meteos both head into that top side of the jungle. We haven't seen that yet. That early control was necessary against XDG. That's all we say, early for XDG, and they shut it down.
That's why so many mid laners love duoing with junglers, and why junglers...
Who did Bjergsen want to duo with?
And why junglers also love duoing with mid laners, because, as I said, counter jungling is a team activity. It's not just on the jungler. Everybody plays a role in that. High went right with Meteos as soon as they wanted to make a move, and that's how you get the advantage. Even a couple seconds early game in the enemy jungler, if you're there first, then you'll gain a huge advantage.
So what you're saying is it's not always the jungler's fault.
Yes.
Well, that's good news for the junglers. So with that game, like I said, towards the end there, as it was kind of slowing down, and we said it had to be kind of a miracle here for XDG. The picks and bans, they shoved Zuna onto Vi. Kayle and Lucian were the only 2 champions that XDG found to win on in that composition. They knew what would hurt them the most.
Yeah, I mean, putting him onto Vi, the only thing was that Cloud9 are making moves before Vi is level 6. And before Vi is level 6, you have to land your Vault Breaker in any sort of skirmish, or else you're going to lose the skirmish. Versus Kha'Zix and Lee Sin, Kha'Zix has pretty easy damage output that he can rely on. It's just targeted. And Meteos was landing very, very good Qs.
He went in level 2.
Yeah. And
High was still level 1.
He was able to land that level 2 Q right through the minions, too.
Yeah,
so,
thread the needle.
That was pretty good.
Threading it clean. They get the win. We got to take a brief break right now, but when we come back, High will join Freak and Jat in the studio to talk about their decisive win over XDG. Then Dignitas looks for their 6th straight victory when they face off against Coast. We'll be right back.
We're fine. I got ulted. Leona no. Careful. Okay, careful.
I'm not there.
I'm going in.
Not there.
I'm tanking for you. Okay, stop tanking. Okay, kill Zuna.
Yo, Meteos teleport.
We're good.
I'm
Careful. Finish her. Kill Benny.
Yo, this guy?
Kill Benny.
This guy?
Watch out. Zuna, Xmithie's dead. Kill this guy. Can you guys get him?
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, red. Okay, good job. Okay, good.
Or push. No.
Okay, good.
Push mid. Their blue might still be up.